It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we take a selected bottle and discuss its various merits. I'm Mark, your friendly beer noob, and joining me, all the way from the bottom of a beer-filled whiskey barrel, is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Enjoying the sun.
Oh, it's beautiful weather. I'm waiting for autumn because I didn't move all the way from Australia for the bloody sunshine. I'm ready to get away from it. I want the grey skies and misery back.
Oh, but it must be nice to finally experience some sun in Britain.
It is. Long time coming, long time coming. Okay, we have a good, interesting beer to try this week. It is a bit of an exotic one. But before we get to that, Stephen, do you have any beery news, mate?
I've got a couple of things this week, yeah. Firstly, just going back to a beer that we did a few weeks ago in a special, Robinson's Trooper, the Iron Maiden beer, that's now sold over 1 million pints since its release in May, which is roughly about 20,000 pints per week. I'm wondering if they've done any analysis as to how many of those were drunk at the Download Festival, because that would be quite interesting to see that. But it's become the fastest selling new beer that Robinsons have ever released.
Wow.
So needless to say, they're quite pleased with what's happened there. Also on the Trooper beer front, it's now also being sold in the House of Commons in their bar as well. It's currently the ale of choice in the House of Commons.
Wow.
So there you go. That's some Trooper related beer news for you there.
Dickinson shag to get that in.
Yeah, well, yeah. Would it be Bruce or would it be the manager again?
Oh, probably the manager.
Yeah, any opportunity.
Apparently,
also,
it might also be being stocked in Waitrose soon.
Really? Excellent.
Well,
And
this is for telling me it was featured in a John Lewis magazine, so that's usually a hint.
okay, fantastic. Oh, it's also due to Weatherspoons have put in a big order as well.
Yeah.
So it should be popping up in Weatherspoons soon. So I think we're going to see Trooper for quite a while yet. Also, tenuously linked to that, I saw some information today about how there's another band getting on the beer front now. Mumford and Sons are apparently releasing a beer to tie in with the Lewis Beer Festival. I don't know if it's Lewis or whether it's Lewes. It's down Brighton way, so I'm sure
Lewis.
number one fan will. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm sure number one fan will jump in and correct me there. Yeah, so they're releasing a beer as well to tie in with that. Not sure that'll quite sell the 1 million pints that Trooper has, but hey ho. So that's the main news this week. Also, another little bit of news. I'm not sure whether any of our listeners followers have picked up on this. The Let There Be Beer campaign was launched in the last week or so, which is a new national campaign that the big breweries are behind. That's been developed basically to raise the beer in the public consciousness. So I'm not quite sure why we feel as though we need a promotional campaign for that, because I think it kind of does well on its own. But there's this big promotional campaign now. Let There Be Beer is on Facebook, it's on Twitter. What we'll do is we'll post the web link over the weekend so people can have a look at the website. Not really that informative at the moment, but just thought I'd mention it in case people haven't actually seen it yet.
Yep. Cool. Anything
So
else?
that's all I've got. No, that's all I've got news-wise this week.
All right,
It's first to actually have some news.
Let's get on to actual beer. I had an interesting beer on the weekend that I forgot to tap in, and now I can't remember what it was, but it was nice.
Excellent. That helps everyone to go out and try and find that one then, doesn't it?
And one of the other ones I had was, we've had the Brooklyn Lager before, and this is one that I've had before from Whole Foods. I don't know if you've had it, which is the Brooklyn IPA.
I haven't, no.
It's really nice. You'll like it. It's nice and hoppy and everything you love in an IPA.
Brilliant. I might have to check out Whole Foods again once I've drunk my current supply of beer stocks, which is quite large at the moment.
So that's all I've had. You've had a couple of bottles.
It's just a few this last week. I found myself at the Euston Tap last week.
Oh, right.
I was meeting. Yeah, research completely. It's all for tonight. I was actually meeting a friend there. And it's a friend that I put down to being the person that's responsible why I now drink craft beer and different types of beer. But we caught up. Haven't seen her for a while, so we caught up for a few beers. And I was only intending on having maybe two, and ended up having 5 or so different pints in there, and it was quite a late night, and I was hanging a little bit the morning after. But my beer selections this week, so that's I had a couple of the Magic Rock beers that were on taps at the Euston Tap. I had Curious and Highwire Oz, not to be confused with Highwire NZ, which I first thought I was drinking, and then Magic Rock promptly tweeted me and said, "No, you're drinking the wrong one. We haven't got that there." It's a version of their Highwire beer with Australian hops, I believe, as opposed to the other one being New Zealand hops. So they were both quite nice, very hoppy, just sort of beers I love. Then I had a Lagunitas IPA, which has been quite a buzz about on Twitter over the past couple of weeks. Again, very nice beer, not overly hopped, but hopped enough so that you can taste it. Real nice beer. You could easily have a few of them. Had a Colonel Sands IPA, which was just typical Colonel. It was like drinking raw hops in a glass, but really easy to drink, really flavoursome, really enjoyable pint. A Yakima Valley by Arbor Owls. And then over the weekend I was camping this weekend, so I always have that dilemma when I go camping of, do I take beers that I need to try and keep cool and foul miserably because you can't keep them cool, or do I take beers that you drink warm and leave it till a little bit later in the evening and enjoy them? So I took a selection of porters and winter beers and black owls. So I did a West 1834 porter with American hops by the Adventure Brewery. That was fairly standard. Did a Simply Called Black by Crouch Vale Beers, who are an Essex brewery. That was amazing. It was I'm not sure if it was a stout or a black IPA, but it was beautifully hopped with lovely citrusy American hops. And in fact, that is my new feature. That's my pick of the week in terms of beers. Crouch Vale Black, Simply Called Black. If you see a bottle of it, or if you're ordering some beers from online, I would recommend putting that in your basket and sampling that, because it was a really good example of a black beer that has been really well hopped and really well put together. And then I just did a couple of other ones. I did one called Granny Wouldn't Like It by the Wolf Brewery, Powerhouse Porter by Sam Brooks, and then when I got home yesterday, I was absolutely gasping for a cold pint, so I had a cheeky bottle of the Marks and Spencer Summer Southwold IPA hiding, which I put in the fridge and promptly destroyed in about 30 seconds flat. But that's a lovely beer. So quite the beer-filled week this week for me.
Oh, very good. Nice one. Okay. That kind of made up for, you had a couple of quiet weeks before that.
Yeah, I have been taking it easy recently. Had to get me tap-ins back up. I'm still trying to get to that magical 500 on Untapped. I'm still failing miserably though. I'm only at about 375 or something like that at the moment.
We'll get
long
there
way to go yet. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on to this week's selected beer. This is one that you brought back from your holiday in Menorca. It's from a Menorcan brewery, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it is it's an American red ale, 4.5% ABV, and it's called Bona Birra. Now,
I actually think that's the name of the brewery.
Okay, so what's the name of the beer?
I think it's just called American Red Ale.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, because at the top it's got Cerveza Artesana, but I'm assuming that means it's an artisan beer.
Yeah, I've tried to do some research on this beer today. They do have a website, which is www.sabonabirra.com, but it's all in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. and I can't translate it either.
Yeah,
there's no.
My back of the label research is no good because this is in Spanish as well. Although apparently this is limited to 1,200 bottles, but it doesn't have a number of what bottle this is.
Well, put it this way. It's a good job I know it's a tasty beer, and it's a good job we've got lots of other stuff to talk about tonight, because we might be filling for what we know about the brewery, what they do, and what the beer is actually about. So, if any of our listeners randomly do speak Spanish and want to spend some time translating the website for us, so we know what's going on, feel free. But yeah, so. It was one of those that I sampled while I was out there from the little bar that I found that I was more than happy with. Loved it, so I thought I'd bring it back. And while we were doing some excursions into Europe this year, I thought it'd be good to actually drink this one for the show.
So Bona Birra son Maria el Pedro es un proyecto que per aspropar et todos servicios de calidad, especialmente cerveza artesana. Crea una cerveza vova. Something like that.
Something
Perfect
like that.
Spanish. Anyway.
And add the Spanish to the list.
I might actually be able to speak Spanish after I finish this bottle.
So there's going to be no Scottish this week then?
No. We've had 3 weeks of that. I do seem to be getting some good reactions now. People seem to enjoy my accents, which is good.
They do. One of our... who was it? Number 3 fan, Denton Raider. Loving the show and the Scottish accent. Yeah, we've got a number 3 fan now.
Is that self-declared or declared by you?
No, I declared him number 3 fan. Apparently he was listening to it while he was walking in the park, and he found himself laughing out loud at your Scottish accent with people looking at him. So, yeah, it's loved.
Cool.
Or hated.
Anyway, let's crack this open and see what the Spaniards have to be proud about for the American Red Ale.
Oh, right. I'm wondering if it's gone off, actually. I'm getting a really bad vinegar smell out of mine.
Well, the back has September 2013 on mine.
Maybe it just didn't travel well.
I hope yours is alright, otherwise it's just me reviewing it.
Oh no, actually now it's out of the bottle. Oh, that's better.
Okay, well let's have a look. It's quite cloudy.
I think it's just the bottle that stinks.
It's got an interesting nose off it.
Yeah. Oh, there were obviously some of that Spanish writing on the back probably suggested that it was bottle conditioned.
Yeah, because it's quite cloudy, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon it's bottle conditioned because holding it up to the light, I've got like a cloud slowly descending in my beer.
Yeah, same.
Which would kind of suggest that I've poured it too quickly and poured out a load of the sediment from the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah, it's quite cloudy. I've still got some left in the bottom. The bottle is still a bit cloudy. But anyway, it shouldn't affect the taste too much, should it?
Shouldn't do, no. But
we'll give it a bash.
So it's a lovely citrusy nose on it.
It is quite fruity nose, yeah. Quite
Picking up orange in there, rather than the more traditional lemons and grapefruits that we normally get.
I've still got my hay fever nose, so I'm not picking up too much.
Okay.
Right, shall we crack on, mate?
Yeah, let's get into it. Cheers.
Right, cheers.
That's nice.
That's not bad.
I enjoyed that. Enjoyed that while I was out there.
Yep.
And that's come back and it's nice. It's just enough hops in there to pick them up as you first take a swig, and then not too bitter aftertaste, quite sweet.
Yep.
Not really overly carbonated, bubbling around in the mouth.
It's got it's quite rich tasting. Like you said, it's just spicy enough on the palate to make it interesting.
Yeah.
It's not too bitter. It's not a sweet beer either. It should be noted.
No, it's not. It's clearly. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that I reckon that the Bona Birra, the Menorca brewery, is a microbrewery that are probably sampling with making craft beers.
Mm-hmm.
So, but until I learn Spanish, that's as much as we'll ever know about it. I'm afraid.
Let me go. I'm going to try and find their website and see if Google Translate will do it.
See, now I was looking at it on an iPad, and I don't know whether.
Bona Birra, Menorca. That's what we want. Come on, Google Translate. Oh, they do home brewing.
So I'm just wondering if it's quite literally grown out of somebody's homebrew.
It's all in images, so Google Translate won't translate it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Clearly they don't want to sell their beer outside of Menorca.
Nostra Birra. Looks like the main beer they do that's bottled is the American Red Ale. Maybe they're a home brewing company and this is their first bottling or something.
Well, when I spoke to, and I use the phrase spoke in its widest term, because I think I mentioned in a previous show that it was one of those kind of broken English discussions that I had with the guy behind the bar.
Yep.
He was saying that that they've only been around for about 3 months, so they're still a fairly new brewery. But as I say, I get the impression that maybe it's just somebody that started off doing some homebrews and they've decided to try and make it into a bit more than that, or it's quite simply a microbrewery that's cropped up on the island doing craft beer.
Yeah, from what I can see, it looks like it's a home brewing company that are branching out. Good on them, because this is a nice beer.
It is, isn't it?
It's got that rooty, earthy taste to it, but a nice kick on the hops.
And at 4.5%, not a big beer either.
No, it's rich enough that I wouldn't be having many bottles of them.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, as you know, I'm more into the light tasting ones.
Yep. Still quite cloudy. Still not settling down. But
I can see a bit of yeast
nonetheless.
at the bottom. So what else are you getting out of it apart from the hops, mate?
I'm getting there's a sweetness there. I'm getting. It's almost I'm getting aromas of jelly now, and like like the gummy sweets that you get.
Okay.
Getting some of that in there.
Getting quite bitter towards the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Flavour wise, it's just I'm just getting a sweetness that I can't quite place, with a slightly bitter aftertaste. I think it's getting more bitter as it's getting towards the end.
Yeah.
It's also carbonation seems to be rapidly disappearing.
Yeah, it didn't
as well. It was quite lively when first opened it. Pardon me. Good light hops on the belch. It's a nice beer. I like it.
Yeah, it's a fair beer. Definitely
It's certainly maybe I was so blown away with it when I first tasted it because it broke up the humdrum of the free all-inclusive Estrella all the time. And maybe it was nice to have something that actually had a bit of taste and flavour to it.
Yeah.
Which this clearly has. And you could quite easily sit in the sun all day long and drink that until you fell over. Probably, I think you'd probably wake up with quite a thumping head the following morning.
I'm getting a really faint, sweet booziness from the dregs. I mean, I've only got that much left.
Yes.
I've only got like 2 fingers left.
Almost Innocent Gun-like booziness.
Yeah, take Innocent Gun and lighten it up a bit.
Yeah.
A little bit like that.
It's kind of those sticky, sweet, toffee, vanilla flavours that you get in the original Innocent Gun.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of underlying there.
Yeah, I have to say I preferred it at the beginning of the glass. Now it's getting towards the end. And obviously, with everything that's kind of settled down towards the bottom, it's condensing the taste a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we didn't mind it. We didn't watch it when we poured it. I mean, you can see it from when I move the glass around. You can see the cloud moving around. So there's obviously plenty.
Mine's kind of sitting at the bottom.
Yeah, plenty of condensed taste in there, which is why it's getting so bitter and I would say unpleasant towards the end. But that's my fault for not pouring it properly.
Yeah. Well, it's just probably our fault for not being able to read Spanish, mate.
Yeah.
I would suggest.
But still, if you can get your hands on this, which might not be easy in the UK, but if you go on to Menorca for a holiday and you fancy a decent beer, I would recommend this. I think it's worth at least trying once.
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
Decent bottle. It's a decent bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, I know this is a little bit for us. This is quite a bit left field because you know it's not a beer that's easily commercially available that people can go off and go, oh, I'll try that. But if you are going to Menorca, it gives you a holiday option in terms of your beer drinking. So Bona Birra de Menorca, American Red Ale. Pretty decent beer.
And nice
actually.
Fruity hops on the belch as well.
Yeah.
If you're a connoisseur of the post-belch hoppiness, then it's not unpleasant.
As we both are.
As we both are. It's a good meter of a beer.
Yes.
What the taste is like.
It's the belch that follows.
The post-belch hoppiness, yeah. You don't want to regret a belch.
Absolutely not. And I've drunk a few beers that you wouldn't want to belch them back up.
Alright, so let's consider a rating for this, mate. Actually, I'm going to tap it in because I'll probably be the first person to ever tap this beer into Untapped.
Well,
apart from you.
Maybe the second, yeah.
So at least I know it's around if you've tapped it in.
Yeah, I think I had to actually create it on Untapped.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't there, yeah.
There it is. Had 2 total check-ins, probably from you.
Probably both from me, yeah.
I'm going to give this 3.5. Because it's not the best, not anywhere near the best beer we've had, but it's a very nice bottle.
I can't remember what I gave it before, which is... I'm wondering if I should go with that or if I should go with new. I might have gone with 3.5 actually, or I might have pushed it out at a 4 because I was actually quite blown away by it. But like I say, that might have been because it broke up the dullness of the otherwise typical all-inclusive free lager. What did I do it as? Oh, I did it as 4.5. Jeez, I think I got a bit carried away with myself there.
Time to revise the score, maybe?
Yep, I think so. Let's bring that down to... Oh no, I don't want to propose an edit. I want to change my rating. I'm going to bring that down to 3.5 actually, because I do think, having had it a second time, I was clearly too excited the first time. It's a nice beer. It's a decent beer. Like I say, it's nice to break up the standard lager that you get when you go abroad with something a bit nicer. But as this has gone down the glass, it's got more difficult to drink.
Yeah, but again, like we said, that's probably down to the pouring, not down to the beer itself.
Yes, yeah, possibly.
But yeah, if you do get a chance, how often can you say that you've had an American red ale from a Spanish home brewing company from Menorca? Not very often.
It's not something you hear in every conversation, is it?
No. So give it a go if you can get your hands on it. It's worth a shout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Before we wrap up, we've got a couple of announcements to make.
Yes, we have.
I will let you do the honours.
Okay. Well, the first one goes back to my visit to the Euston Tap last week. All joking aside, I actually almost was there on Beer O'Clock Show business, because I had a beer with a guy by the name of Bradley Channer, who is the director of the I Love Free Beer app that you may have seen on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I think it's @_ I love free beer, but there's also an app that you can now download from iTunes and for Android. Basically, on this app, there are a load of bars in London that have signed up to. If you've got this app, you go in and you show them the app and you get a free beer because you've got the app.
On what conditions? Are there any conditions?
On no conditions
Really?
whatsoever. If really, well, the only condition is it's of their choosing. So you're liable to get the cheapest, nastiest, whatever that they've got on that night. But free beer is free beer, and who doesn't love a free beer?
So you don't have to buy a meal or anything like that?
No, you quite literally you download the app. The app's free to download. You go into the pub, you show them the thing, and you get a free beer. And I don't know if it's just a free beer or whether you buy one beer and get one free type thing. So, but Bradley got in touch with us because he's about to launch alongside the I Love Free Beer app. He's looking to launch a weekly online magazine about the beer scene in London, and he was getting in touch with various people to get them to contribute to the magazine. So he got in touch with the Beer O'Clock Show, and he said, would we be keen on maybe contributing a weekly article about the beers that we're drinking? And after a pint, that basically bought my association to him. So I'm cheap round me. We're going to be featuring some reviews every now and again on the I Love Free Beer magazine when it launches.
Cool.
So essentially what we'll be doing is turning our spoken word into the written word. So that's our first announcement. And the second one is kind of ties into something that's happening at the end of the season, but also about us looking at branching out a little bit. We are really pleased to announce that launching next Tuesday, so that will be the
17th? No. What's the date?
16th. Tuesday the 16th of July. We are bringing on board a new member of our extended family. So much the same as we have number one fan popping up at the end of the shows doing his little reviews. Number two fan, Michael Doody. Still know it's not his name, but still going to use it. Michael is coming on board, and he's basically he wants to get into a bit of blogging, and he was looking for someone to host his blogs. So he got in touch with us, and after a bit of toing and throwing, we agreed to host some blogs that Michael's going to be doing. So Michael's blogs are going to go under the heading of Still Thinking. Which basically sums up how a lot of us feel these days when we walk into a craft beer bar and there's so much choice that it takes us a while, and the barman comes up and it's like, I'm still thinking, mate. So that will be launching next week, and Michael's going to run a series of different themes on there. So he's going to be looking at doing fun and interesting stories about beer that he picks up. He's looking at doing some features and interviews with shops, bars and breweries that he's already got lined up to interview. Michael also does some home brewing, so he's going to be doing some features around what he's brewing. He's going to do a monthly roundup of the beers he's drunk, and he's going to be doing some features on events that he goes to as well. So the first Still Thinking blog that he's going to be launching ties into our end of season show that we've been teasing for a few weeks now. Nobody's kind of guessed the beer that we're going to be doing, but a few weeks ago Michael got in touch with us and said, guys, I've found a shop in Scotland that still has Unhuman Cannonball. Do you want it? At which point I literally bit his hand off. The guy travelled from one side of Scotland to the other to pick up these bottles of beer for us and send to us. So his first blog's going to be about his adventures going to get the beer for us. And then he's going to come on to our end of season show along with our number one fan as well. So there might be a bit of fan wars going on. And the four of us, because by then we will all have a bottle of Unhuman Cannonball, are going to review quite possibly what will be the most scary beer that any of us have ever drunk.
And I've got the bottle here, and just in case anyone's not aware what it is, it's 12% ABV. It's a 660ml bottle, and it's from the Magic Rock Brewing. Triple India Pale Ale, and this is the beer that is going to kill me. I think that will be...
We might not be back for season 3.
All I can say is thank God it's the end of season, because we're going to need a couple of months to get in line with the NHS for our liver transplants after that one.
Yeah, but it's our end of season show's in 2 weeks' time, and much like if there's anybody still with us after 2 seasons, if anybody heard the end of season 1 show, we went on for about an hour. Because we did a whole review of the year, and we did a couple of bottles of beer that night, didn't we?
I can't remember.
So no, I didn't think you would be able to. So much the same as that, we're gonna sample the Magic Rock Unhuman Cannonball. Michael's gonna come on, Stath's gonna come on. The 4 of us are gonna drink and enjoy the beer, and talk about what it's doing to us and how it's destroying our insides. Mark, you won't need to do a Scottish accent that night because Michael's obviously from Scotland, so he'll cover all the Scottish side of things.
That's great
for us. But yeah, that all links into the new blog that we're launching next Tuesday. Still thinking. Keep an eye out for it, because hopefully we'll be looking to put it out every week, and with us coming up to a bit of a break, bit of a summer break, we're hoping that will kind of replace the Friday night shows that go out, and we'll move his blog to a Friday night while we're off air, and then we'll shift him around again when we come back. So welcome on board, Michael. Number 2 fan, be doing some blogging, still thinking, launching next Tuesday.
Very good.
Top
and that
drawer.
Wraps it up for us. We've got 2 more shows left in the bag. We will have... I'll say it now, we're going to have a little special over the summer, but we'll give some more details on that as it happens. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much, Steve. That was a decent beer.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
You say like that like we don't drink decent beers.
Well,
but mind you, after last week...
Sometimes not.
Yeah, sometimes not.
Right, alright mate. Until next week.
Alrighty then.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is at Staff 79 recording for the Beer O'Clock Show. This week I am recording about Gale's Seafarers by Fuller's, a lovely beer, one that I absolutely adore. It's better than a bitter, it's tasty, slightly fruity, 3.6%, a good session beer. Lovely after a nice game of cricket on a Saturday evening with a nice packet of pork scratchings. Seafarers, drink it on tap. Lovely. Number 1 fan, over and out. Top drawer.